Tonight, rest close and breathe in the hush. I am here, softly near, a calm friend in night. Let your eyes grow heavy, like sand over stars. Before we begin, whisper a little kindness. Please subscribe so this gentle space stays warm. Leave a soft comment with your country and time. Tell me where you are, beneath the same moon. Your presence helps this quiet harbor grow. Now, let us begin tonight's story slowly. We will walk together softly and calmly. Every step will settle like dust in moonlight. Every word will lie quiet like leaves at rest. You are safe here, beside the torchlit silence. Breathe and feel the night move gently. Now, let us begin tonight's story.
The desert night spread calm over ancient Memphis. Above the city, the moon drifted like a silver boat. Its glow touched walls, statues, and the wide river. Stone streets were hushed, emptied of daily cries. Shadows rested against pillars of the temple courts. Torches flickered at the gates of Pharaoh's palace. Inside the court, silence was heavy, yet alive. Each column rose tall, carved with sacred lotus. The moonlight slid across polished limestone floors. Incense curled upward, fragrant with cedar and myrrh. Servants moved lightly, robes whispering on stone. A cool breeze drifted through open arches. At the heart, Pharaoh's throne stood in solemn grace. Gold gleamed faintly, softened by night's quiet hand. The court seemed to breathe in timeless rhythm. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the air settled. The hush of night folded over the gathering hall. Every surface held stories carved in silence. A priest entered with a vessel of honeyed oil. He placed it before a statue of Horus. The flame of a nearby lamp trembled close. Imagine the torchlight flickering, shadows dancing on faces. The sound of sandals echoed like muted bells. Each step felt like a ritual in moonlight. Beyond the gates, watchmen stood with steady staffs. Their eyes followed stars above the palace roofs. The Nile carried whispers of distant reeds. In that silence, the Pharaoh prepared for rest. The chamber echoed with echoes of ancient order. Every stone seemed to hold breath for the king. The Pharaoh reclined upon the throne of night. His crown glimmered faintly, silver caught in gold. Eyes heavy, he gazed toward the open sky. Stars shimmered like attendants beyond the court's roof. A hush lingered, deep as the river's breath. Every servant moved with care, each gesture slow. The queen sat nearby, robes pale in moonlight. Her hands rested softly upon her lap. Jewels at her wrist shimmered with crimson hue. No words were spoken, only silence flowed gently. The court became a vessel of quiet prayers. Incense smoke wound upward, fragrant like dreams unspoken. Scribes sat with scrolls near shaded columns. They recorded the day's decrees in calm strokes. Wax tablets shone faintly under trembling flames. Pharaoh's thoughts wandered beyond this chamber. He recalled battles won beneath the desert sun. He remembered offerings laid before sacred shrines. Now the night asked nothing of him. It only wrapped him in soft remembrance. It only offered silence, warm and safe. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the chamber breathed. Sand outside shifted with the whispering wind. Palm fronds rustled like a gentle hymn. Imagine the hush of wings overhead. Perhaps an ibis moved in slow arc. Its cry faded into the distance, tender. Pharaoh closed his eyes for a moment. He felt the weight of his people's trust. Every brick, every field lay beneath his crown. But tonight was not for duty or rule. It was for rest, for the soul's ease. It was for listening to the voice of night. The queen leaned closer, whispering soft comfort. Her words were low, like the river's hum. The pharaoh's breath grew calm in rhythm. The court glowed beneath its canopy of silence. Statues of falcon gods watched from their shadows. Their stone eyes reflected a faint lunar gleam. Servants placed fruit and bread upon golden cups. Honeyed vessels caught the torchlight in crimson hues. Offerings rested in quiet, awaiting dawn rituals. The palace cats wandered between the tall columns. Their paws made no sound on polished floors. Their eyes shimmered like tiny lanterns in the dark. Pharaoh lifted his hand with gentle grace. A servant approached, bowing low in reverence. Water was poured into a bronze basin. The sound was like rain in the chamber. Cool drops splashed softly against the vessel. Pharaoh washed his hands, shedding the day's dust. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the moment passed. The water carried away the weight of hours. Night folded itself closer around the throne. Beyond the hall, the Nile drifted in silver. Its waves whispered against wooden boats. Fishermen's torches shimmered in the far distance. Imagine the torchlight flickering across dark water. The hush of oars touched the sleeping banks. The world beyond the court dissolved into peace. Inside, the queen rose to her feet. She placed incense before the statue of Isis. The smoke coiled upward, fragrant, luminous. Her voice murmured a blessing for protection. The words were soft as breath on glass. The pharaoh listened, heart eased by her closeness. The courtiers withdrew, leaving shadows behind. Only a few attendants lingered near. Their staffs tapped lightly, like soft rhythms. Pharaoh's crown was set on its stand. Gold gleamed faint under wavering flame. The king's brow was bare, at rest. He leaned into stillness, into ancient silence. Walls whispered with memories of dynasties. Every stone echoed with echoes of time. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the hall dimmed. Torches burned lower, their flames sinking inward. The night deepened like velvet around the throne. Pharaoh's breath joined the rhythm of quiet. The queen's hand rested lightly in his. Together, they sat beneath the moon's gaze. The stars seemed closer, the air more tender. Even the silence carried warmth like a cloak. Even the shadows felt like companions. Thus, the first hour of night unfolded. The court did not sleep, yet it dreamed. It dreamed of peace, of legacy, of eternal hush.
The night deepened around the Pharaoh's court. Torches glowed softer, their flames bending with breeze. Silence pressed close, like a cloak of velvet. In the inner hall, priests gathered quietly. They carried staffs adorned with golden symbols. Their eyes lowered, lips moving in quiet prayers. The scent of incense grew stronger in the air. Sweet smoke curled against the painted ceilings. Images of gods shimmered faintly in shadows. Pharaoh sat upright, his face serene and calm. He watched as offerings were laid in order. Bowls of fruit, bread, and honeyed vessels gleamed. A hush settled deeper, as if time paused. Every gesture moved like a ripple on water. Every word whispered like wind through reeds. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the ritual continued. No sound was hurried, no motion unmeasured. Night itself seemed part of the ceremony. Imagine the flame bending over the golden cups, its glow painted crimson on limestone walls. The court breathed as one, still and quiet. An elder priest stepped forward with steady grace. He lifted a vessel, pouring oil with care. Drops shimmered like stars as they touched the altar. Pharaoh's gaze did not waver from the flame. He felt the warmth of ancient vows around. The presence of gods lingered, unseen but near. The queen closed her eyes in silent devotion, her hands folded gently, resting on her heart. She whispered words only the night could hear. The attendants lowered their heads in respect. Their shadows joined the shadows of the statues. All were united in the temple hush. The chamber glowed with the rhythm of torches. Each flame leaned as though bowing to silence. The air shimmered with warmth and faint perfume. Pharaoh lifted his hand, steady and calm. A servant approached, carrying a carved staff. Its top held the figure of a falcon. The staff gleamed in the moon's pale light. Symbols etched deep caught the flicker of fire. Pharaoh held it with reverence yet gentle touch. The priests chanted words older than memory. Their tones rose and fell like distant waves. Each syllable seemed to hang in the night. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the chants wove together. The court became a vessel filled with sound, not loud, but humming like breath on glass. Perhaps you hear the hush of wings above, the falcon of Horus drifting in silence. Its shadow brushed the walls of the palace. Pharaoh's eyes followed where no form was seen. He breathed deeper, his chest rising with calm. The staff felt alive in his grasp. The queen opened her eyes, meeting his gaze. Her smile was soft, like the Nile's surface. Together, they shared the stillness of devotion. Servants knelt with trays of golden cups. Wine shimmered crimson beneath wavering flames. Bread lay beside figs and pomegranates. The scent of fruit mingled with incense. It filled the hall with sweetness and warmth. Even the silence tasted of honey and night. The elder priest placed his hand on stone. He whispered blessings for the court's protection. The words sank deep into every carved mark. Pharaoh lowered his head in agreement. The staff touched the ground with quiet weight. The sound echoed softly across the vast hall. Outside, the watchmen shifted their stance. They felt the hush even through stone walls. The night held them in patient stillness. The hall rested in golden shadows and whispers. Every column bore witness to this quiet rite. Hieroglyphs shimmered where torchlight brushed their edges. Pharaoh closed his eyes for a moment. He felt the weight of years pass gently. Kings before him had stood in this place. Their voices lingered, carved into stone and memory. The same prayers had risen countless nights. The same silence had answered faithfully, without fail. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he released his breath. The staff lay across his lap with care. It seemed less like power, more like trust. The queen placed her hand on his arm. Her touch was light, steady as a river. Together, they leaned into the quiet presence. Imagine the torchlight bending low against the floor, its glow stretched like a hand reaching outward. The shadows seemed to bow in reverence. The priests retreated, their chants fading like mist. Only the faint murmur of incense remained. The fragrance clung to stone and silence. Servants carried trays back into hidden chambers. Their sandals brushed lightly against smooth limestone. No sound rose above the hush of night. Pharaoh remained still upon his throne. His thoughts drifted beyond the chamber walls. He saw fields, temples, the wide flowing Nile. He felt the breath of his people in silence. Farmers resting after long days under sun. Children sleeping near oil lamps, hearts at ease. The court reflected that same calm tonight. Every stone seemed woven with safety and trust. Every shadow whispered of lasting legacy. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the moment deepened. The queen whispered a prayer beneath her breath. It carried like a feather through the hush. Pharaoh heard it, though no words were clear. He felt its warmth sink into his spirit. The hall embraced them both in quiet. At last, the staff was set aside. Torches dimmed lower, their flames shrinking inward. The priests bowed, retreating into the outer dark. Pharaoh and queen remained seated in calm. The night gathered them close, safe and still. Above, the moon lingered like a guardian star. Thus ended the second hour's opening hush. The palace slept, yet breathed with ancient rhythm. A rhythm that would carry into the next.
The palace halls led to Pharaoh's chamber. Stone gave way to softness, linen, and gold. The night entered gently through open arches. A wide bed stood near carved walls. Its frame shone with polished cedar wood. Curtains of linen swayed with quiet grace. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the room embraced. Shadows folded themselves beneath tall bronze lamps. Their flames glowed steady, never too bright. Attendants moved with hushed reverence. One fanned the air with palm leaves. Another poured oil into shallow bowls. The fragrance of lotus filled the chamber. It mingled with cedar and faint myrrh. The air was warm, yet soothing to breathe. Imagine the linen curtains moving with breeze. Their edges fluttered like whispers of wings. Moonlight painted pale lines across the floor. Pharaoh stepped inside, robes trailing behind. The queen followed, her gaze serene. Together they paused at the chamber's heart. The attendants bowed and slipped away. Only silence lingered with the flickering light. The chamber became theirs, vast yet intimate. Pharaoh brushed his hand across the bed. Linen sheets were cool beneath his fingers. He breathed slower, sinking into calm. The queen placed a vessel near the table. Inside lay figs, pomegranates, and sweet wine. She set them with deliberate care and grace. Pharaoh lowered himself onto the bed. The cushions yielded beneath his weight. A sigh escaped, deep and restful. The queen sat beside him, still and calm. Her hand touched his shoulder tenderly. Their closeness softened the weight of day. The chamber glowed with gentle rhythm of lamps. Shadows bent long across the golden floor. Each flame swayed as if breathing in sleep. Pharaoh leaned back against carved headrest. His crown was gone, his brow unburdened. Eyes half closed, he gazed toward soft curtains. The queen's presence lingered beside him. Her robe rustled as she shifted closer. The air warmed with her steady calm. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time folded away. Moments stretched like silk threads in moonlight. Every sound hushed into tender silence. Perhaps you hear the flutter of palm fans. Their slow rhythm matched the heart's own beat. Each sweep carried coolness into the air. Pharaoh sipped from the vessel of wine. Its taste was deep, rich, and slow. He set it down with reverent care. The queen lifted a fig, sweet with juice. She placed it gently into his hand. He smiled, lips brushing the fruit softly. The sweetness lingered upon his tongue. It tasted of orchards beneath desert sun. Yet tonight it belonged only to quiet. The queen hummed a melody low. Her voice blended with the lamp's faint hum. The chamber itself seemed to sing with her. Pharaoh closed his eyes completely now. His breathing deepened, slow and sure. The weight of the day dissolved in night. Shadows upon the walls shifted gently. Hieroglyphs flickered under flame's embrace. Ancestors' names shimmered like whispers of time. The queen laid her head upon his shoulder. Her hair brushed lightly against his skin. Their closeness breathed warmth into the chamber. Beyond the walls, the palace slept deeply. Watchmen's steps echoed faint across stone courtyards. But here only silence ruled with grace. The chamber's air grew softer, thick with calm. Oil lamps burned lower, their glow more golden. Curtains swayed like waves upon a quiet sea. Pharaoh drifted deeper into rest. His breath rose and fell in gentle rhythm. The queen matched her own to his pace. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the night enclosed. Walls seemed to lean closer in protection. Ceiling shimmered faint with painted stars. Imagine the faint rustle of linen above. It moved with the whisper of desert wind. Its shadow traced patterns across the floor. The queen whispered blessings near his ear, words too low for any but him. They carried warmth like fire in winter. Pharaoh stirred but did not wake. He turned slightly, sinking into cushions. A sigh escaped, heavy yet peaceful. Attendants peeked from shadowed archways. Seeing his rest, they withdrew in silence. The chamber was left to king and queen. A bronze lamp flickered, flame bending low. Wax dripped slowly into a carved basin. The scent of lotus thickened in the air. The queen closed her eyes at last. Her hand rested over Pharaoh's hand. Their fingers curled together in stillness. Beyond the chamber, the palace lay hushed. Servants slept curled in their quarters. Guards paced softly along moonlit walls. But here, in Pharaoh's rest, time stilled. Every sound folded into velvet hush. Every shadow softened like a tender cloak. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the world hushed deeper. The room held its breath in reverence. Even the breeze dared not disturb. Thus the chamber became a cradle of night, a place where power was stripped away, where only silence crowned the weary king. The queen's breath steadied beside him. The lamps dwindled, their flames shrinking small. Darkness deepened with golden traces left. Together they lay in quiet embrace, two figures bound by rest and trust. The night guarded them beneath gentle stars. And so Section 4 came to its close. Pharaoh slept, queen by his side. The palace dreamed with them in silence.
The palace halls led to Pharaoh's chamber. Stone gave way to softness, linen and gold. The night entered gently through open arches. A wide bed stood near carved walls. Its frame shone with polished cedarwood. Curtains of linen swayed with quiet grace. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the room embraced. Shadows folded themselves beneath tall bronze lamps. Their flames glowed steady, never too bright. Attendants moved with hushed reverence. One fanned the air with palm leaves. Another poured oil into shallow bowls. The fragrance of lotus filled the chamber. It mingled with cedar and faint myrrh. The air was warm, yet soothing to breathe. Imagine the linen curtains moving with breeze. Their edges fluttered like whispers of wings. Moonlight painted pale lines across the floor. Pharaoh stepped inside, robes trailing behind. The queen followed, her gaze serene. Together they paused at the chamber's heart. The attendants bowed and slipped away. Only silence lingered with the flickering light. The chamber became theirs, vast yet intimate. Pharaoh brushed his hand across the bed. Linen sheets were cool beneath his fingers. He breathed slower, sinking into calm. The queen placed a vessel near the table. Inside lay figs, pomegranates, and sweet wine. She set them with deliberate care and grace. Pharaoh lowered himself onto the bed. The cushions yielded beneath his weight. A sigh escaped, deep and restful. The queen sat beside him, still and calm. Her hand touched his shoulder tenderly. Their closeness softened the weight of day. The chamber glowed with gentle rhythm of lamps. Shadows bent long across the golden floor. Each flame swayed as if breathing in sleep. Pharaoh leaned back against carved headrest. His crown was gone, his brow unburdened. Eyes half closed, he gazed toward soft curtains. The queen's presence lingered beside him. Her robe rustled as she shifted closer. The air warmed with her steady calm. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time folded away. Moments stretched like silk threads in moonlight. Every sound hushed into tender silence. Perhaps you hear the flutter of palm fans. Their slow rhythm matched the heart's own beat. Each sweep carried coolness into the air. Pharaoh sipped from the vessel of wine. Its taste was deep, rich, and slow. He set it down with reverent care. The queen lifted a fig, sweet with juice. She placed it gently into his hand. He smiled, lips brushing the fruit softly. The sweetness lingered upon his tongue. It tasted of orchards beneath desert sun. Yet tonight it belonged only to quiet. The queen hummed a melody low. Her voice blended with lamps' faint hum. The chamber itself seemed to sing with her. Pharaoh closed his eyes completely now. His breathing deepened, slow and sure. The weight of the day dissolved in night. Shadows upon the walls shifted gently. Hieroglyphs flickered under flame's embrace. Ancestors' names shimmered like whispers of time. The queen laid her head upon his shoulder. Her hair brushed lightly against his skin. Their closeness breathed warmth into the chamber. Beyond the walls, the palace slept deeply. Watchmen's steps echoed faint across stone courtyards. But here, in the palace's rest, time stilled. Every sound folded into velvet hush. Every shadow softened like a tender cloak. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the world hushed deeper. The room held its breath in reverence. Even the breeze dared not to disturb. Thus the chamber became a cradle of night, a place where power was stripped away, where only silence crowned the weary king. The queen's breath steadied beside him. The lamps dwindled, their frames shrinking small. Darkness deepened with golden traces left. Together they lay in quiet embrace, two figures bound by rest and trust. The night guarded them beneath gentle stars. And so section 4 came to its close. Pharaoh slept, queen by his side. The palace dreamed with them in silence.
Pharaoh lay upon the linen bed, his eyes half closed, yet dreams stirred. The queen's breath lingered soft beside him. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he drifted inward. The chamber glowed faintly with golden lamps. Curtains moved like sails upon the breeze. A scarab amulet rested near his hand. Carved in stone, it gleamed under torchlight. Its surface bore prayers of protection. Imagine the symbols glowing faint on stone, hieroglyphs curving like stars across dark sky. Their meaning whispered of safety and rest. Pharaoh remembered his childhood in palace halls, nurses singing while placing amulets near him. Their voices promised Ra's light at dawn. Ancient papyrus spoke of such rituals. Lines prayed for Osiris to guard dreams, words etched with care upon fragile scrolls. Perhaps you hear the hush of ancestors, their voices rising from carved walls. Their memory filled the chamber like breath. Outside, common homes shared the same hush. Families lit small lamps of clay. Children drifted off beside bowls of figs. Mothers whispered blessings over straw mats. Fathers placed scarabs above doorframes. Night covered rich and poor alike. Pharaoh felt their presence within his rest. He bore their trust upon his crown. Even in silence, he carried their hope. The chamber held echoes of ancient songs, faint like waves against forgotten shores. Pharaoh's breath deepened with every memory. He recalled elders who taught sacred names, whispering of gods that watched each night. Their words pressed gently into his soul. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the past returned. Childhood laughter echoed in hidden corridors. Lessons of priests shimmered in his heart. An old tutor showed him sacred scrolls, papyrus lined with prayers for restful dreams, each sign curved like flowing river reeds. Imagine the ink glowing beneath oil lamps, its black strokes alive against pale fiber, a prayer moving like breath across time. Pharaoh once traced those signs with care, small hands brushing against ancient wisdom. He carried those symbols into manhood. The queen listened as he whispered fragments, his voice low, weaving past with present. Her hand tightened softly around his. Perhaps you hear the hush of the Nile beyond, its waters reflecting stars of memory, its flow eternal like Pharaoh's own blood. Servants in villages knew the same prayers. They whispered them while children slept. They trusted the gods to guard night. Osiris, Lord of stillness, cradled dreams. Ra, Father of dawn, promised return. Together they circled time in endless rhythm. Pharaoh felt that rhythm in his chest, a beat older than throne or crown, a beat joined to stars above him. The queen closed her eyes, hearing too. Her breath moved with his like waves. Silence wrapped them in tender embrace. The amulet scarab glowed faint in light. Its curves caught shadow of the flame. Its meaning whispered, life continues through night. The chamber deepened into a cradle of night. Oil lamps burned low, their glow softening. Curtains stirred like whispers of forgotten time. Pharaoh spoke of his father's reign. battles carved upon walls of temples, stories etched in stone to last forever. He remembered watching carvers at their work, chisels tapping slowly into limestone, each mark a prayer of legacy. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, his voice dimmed. The queen listened, her eyes warm. She traced his hand with tender care. Imagine the torchlight flickering upon carved names, dynasties flowing like rivers across stone, each name a thread woven into night. Pharaoh's breath slowed into steady rhythm. His words faded into silence. Only memory lingered in the air. He dreamed of walking young through gardens. Lotus blossoms brushed against his small hands. Priests bowed low, blessing the boy king. Perhaps you hear the hush of hymns, voices rising from hidden shrines. Their echoes filled his resting heart. The queen placed the scarab near him. Its cool stone touched his skin. A circle of safety bound his rest. Outside, the Nile carried whispers of dawn. Stars wheeled slowly above the palace. Their patience mirrored eternity's calm. The amulet gleamed once, then stilled. Its shadow lay quiet upon his chest. Its promise, life guarded through the dark. Pharaoh drifted fully into dreams. The queen leaned close, her breath calm. Together they surrendered to night's embrace. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence reigned. The chamber breathed with rhythm of peace. All was still within Pharaoh's court. Thus closed the 5th hour of night. The palace held its breath in hush, and the legacy of kings lay safe.
Pharaoh's breath slowed into the rhythm of sleep. His eyes closed, yet vision opened within. The queen's hand rested warm upon his. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he drifted deeper. The chamber faded into a sky of stars. Curtains melted into fields of endless night. Above him stretched the body of Nut. Her stars glowed like jewels across dark velvet. Her arms cradled the world in silence. Imagine the heavens bending close to Pharaoh. Each star whispered secrets of eternal night. Each glow traced his path into dreams. A scarab rolled the sun across horizon, but now it rested, hidden beneath earth. Night claimed the sky with tender hands. Priests once wrote of such journeys. In papyrus, they called them dream paths. Ritual words guided souls through darkness. Perhaps you hear the voice of Thoth. His wisdom echoed in soft syllables. He guarded Pharaoh's mind with sacred light. Osiris stood at gates of shadow. His presence calm, vast, and steady. He welcomed Pharaoh into night's domain. The Nile flowed beneath this dreamscape. Its waters mirrored stars in rippling silver. Its current carried whispers of eternity. Pharaoh stepped upon its shining banks. Sand shimmered beneath his dream-bound feet. The air hummed with divine hush.
The dream deepened into sacred stillness. No sound stirred but the river's flow. Its current sang in hushed tones. Pharaoh walked with measured steps. Each stride echoed across silver sand. Each breath aligned with the stars above. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the gods watched. Nut curved overhead like a mother's arms. Her starlight shielded the dream-bound king. Thoth appeared, ibis-headed and serene. He carried a scroll glowing with light. Symbols shifted across its endless surface. Imagine those signs drifting through the air. They circled Pharaoh, whispering knowledge eternal. Each curve glowed like fireflies in night. Thoth's voice wove steady and calm. He spoke of wisdom that guided rulers. His words entered Pharaoh's dreaming heart. Perhaps you hear the hush of Osiris. He stood tall, crowned in silence. His gaze weighed the balance of souls. He offered Pharaoh a staff of shadow, carved with images of rebirth. It glowed faint within the dream's twilight. Pharaoh touched it, feeling warmth spread. Not fear, but comfort filled his chest. The staff steadied his dream steps further. The Nile widened into fields of stars. Its surface mirrored galaxies unending. Its flow joined with time itself. Pharaoh knelt, touching water's edge. Ripples reached out like gentle hands. They carried whispers of ancestors before. Voices rose in soft procession. Farmers, priests, queens, and kings, all joining in harmony of night. Their chant blended with the river's song, a lullaby sung across generations. It wrapped Pharaoh in eternal calm. The dream carried Pharaoh deeper still. Stars bent low, shining close upon him. Their light bathed his path in silver. Nut whispered across the endless sky. Her words moved like wind through reeds. She promised dawn after every darkness. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Pharaoh listened. Her voice lingered like a mother's lullaby. It folded into the rhythm of his heart. Osiris raised his hand in blessing. Shadow became shelter, not fear. The gates of night opened wide. Imagine Pharaoh stepping through those gates. Beyond lay fields of calm eternity. Every blade of grass glowed with starlight. There, ancestors gathered in quiet welcome. Their forms glimmered like mist in moon. Their eyes carried warmth of timeless kin. They placed hands upon Pharaoh's shoulders, not heavy, but steady and kind. Their touch flowed strength into his rest. Perhaps you hear their chant beneath. It wove across the dream like thread, binding king and people into one. Thoth unrolled the glowing scroll. Upon it Pharaoh saw his name, written bright among constellations of kings. The sight filled him with peace. Legacy and memory were safe. Night itself held his story close. The Nile's dream flow shimmered brighter. Its waters turned toward horizon's edge. There the promise of Ra waited. The scarab stirred within dream's shadow. It rolled the sun toward hidden dawn. The circle of life turned unbroken. Pharaoh lay upon the river bank. The queen's presence drifted near him. Her voice reached into his dreaming. She whispered love through veil of sleep. It wove with chants of ancestors. It carried him deeper into calm. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence deepened. The gods withdrew, leaving stars behind. The river carried Pharaoh into peace. Thus ended the 6th hour of night. Dreams guarded by Nut and Osiris. Wisdom gifted by Thoth's gentle scroll.
Pharaoh walked through fields of starlit sand. The dream carried him beyond mortal sight. Every step echoed with memories of kings. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the night opened. Figures emerged, robed in light and shadow. Ancestors gathered in a circle of calm. Ramses II stood tall among the stars. His crown glimmered like dawn upon horizon. His eyes held the weight of empire. Imagine his voice, steady as the Nile. It flowed across centuries into Pharaoh's heart. Legacy speaking to legacy, eternal and firm. Beside him rose Seti I, father of strength, his presence calm yet unyielding as stone. He carried the memory of great temples. Perhaps you hear their whispers on the wind. They spoke not commands, but gentle guidance. Their words flowed like lullabies of power. Guard the people as river guards fields. Speak truth as stars speak in silence. Rest, for night renews the day. Pharaoh bowed his head in reverence. He felt their hands upon his shoulders. Warmth filled him, steady as fire. The queen appeared beside him in dream. Her presence brightened with shared devotion. Together they faced the circle of kings. Osiris watched, silent upon dream's horizon. He allowed bond of blood to strengthen. Legacy flowed like current of the Nile. The dream deepened into halls of memory. Walls of stone rose, carved with glowing hieroglyphs. Each mark sang with voices of ancestors. Pharaoh traced the signs with quiet hand. They burned softly beneath his fingers. Wisdom flowed into him like gentle river. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the past spoke. Statues shimmered, stepping forth into living forms. Gods and men walked side by side. Seti I placed a staff in Pharaoh's hand, its wood carved with falcon wings, its weight steady yet light in spirit. Imagine Pharaoh holding that staff of kings. Symbols glowed brighter beneath dream's starlight. It pulsed with power, not of war, but of trust. Ramses II lifted his gaze skyward. He pointed where Orion gleamed bright. The stars are maps for rulers' hearts. Perhaps you hear that counsel carried far, words woven into the hush of eternity, guidance lingering long after voices fade. Pharaoh listened with open breath. No burden weighed heavy in this place, only kinship stretching across ages. The queen's hand clasped his with strength. She too felt the circle's embrace. Her presence honored the line of rulers. Together they stood within legacy's heart. Kings before, kings to come, one bond. Their unity sang in silence profound. The river of stars widened before them.
Its waters shimmered with radiant calm. Every drop a soul, every ripple a memory. Pharaoh stepped closer, gazing deep within. Faces rose upon the shining surface. Rulers, priests, farmers, children, all together. Their chorus rose, soft as breath. Rest, Pharaoh, the night protects you. Rise, Pharaoh, the dawn awaits you. The dream carried Pharaoh deeper still. Light shimmered upon the starry river. Each ripple bore echoes of countless lives. Ancestors stood closer, their forms glowing steady, their eyes warm yet filled with truth. They spoke in tones of gentle command. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, wisdom poured forth. Rule with kindness as Nile feeds land. Stand in silence as pyramids stand eternal. Pharaoh bowed, heart open to their words. He felt lineage binding him in strength, not crown alone, but generations' trust. Imagine his breath mingling with their chant, a harmony woven through time's great loom, each note a thread of enduring legacy. The queen's presence brightened beside him. She bowed as well, her spirit steadfast. Together they honored voices of the past. Osiris raised his hand once more. The circle of kings began to fade, yet their blessing lingered like soft flame. Perhaps you hear the hush of departure, footsteps dissolving into stars above. Their light remained upon Pharaoh's brow. The dream narrowed into calm horizon, river flowing back into a single stream. Pharaoh rested, carrying gift of peace. He lay upon the starlit bank. The scarab gleamed faint against his chest, its shadows steady, a circle unbroken. Above him Nut stretched wide in silence. Her stars glowed with promise of dawn. She whispered softly, "Sleep, beloved child." Pharaoh drifted deeper, safe in embrace. Ancestors' words echoed still within him, guidance carried into his very breath. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, night enclosed. The palace slumbered, dreams woven tight. The Pharaoh rested within legacy's arms. Thus ended the 7th hour of night. The court hushed in reverent stillness, and history itself cradled its king.
Pharaoh's dream carried him beyond the palace. The starry river led toward holy ground. Its banks shimmered with temples and light. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, his steps echoed. Stone rose around him, tall as mountains. Walls carved with gods stretched into sky. He entered Abydos, shrine of Osiris. Torches burned low, their flames bowing inward. Incense drifted through wide sacred halls. Imagine hieroglyphs glowing upon high walls. Scenes of gods guiding souls through night. Every mark alive beneath dreams' fire. Priests walked beside him in silence. Their robes shimmered white under moon. They carried vessels of oil and bread. Perhaps you hear their chant in air, low tones weaving like river currents, a hymn rising to Osiris himself. He approached the inner sanctum. A statue stood crowned with white crown. Eyes of stone glimmered in golden dark. The queen appeared beside him again, her steps soft, her gaze serene. Together they knelt before the altar. Offerings shone in dreams' quiet light. bowls of figs, jars of honey, symbols of devotion laid in hush. Osiris watched, calm from his shrine, his silence steady, his presence vast. He welcomed Pharaoh into sacred rest. The sanctum glowed with steady flame. Shadows danced across carved pillars. Incense curled upward like silver vines. Pharaoh bowed low before Osiris' shrine. His forehead touched the cool stone. A hush filled the sacred chamber. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, voices stirred. Chants rose from hidden priests. Their words circled like protective wings. Imagine the statue's gaze bending downward, eyes of stone alive with divine calm. Their light rested upon Pharaoh's shoulders. The queen whispered a prayer beside him. Her voice blended with dream's rhythm. Her words carried warmth into the hall. Perhaps you hear the Nile's flow outside, its sound joining hymn and incense, a harmony weaving heaven and earth. Pharaoh lifted his head in reverence. He saw murals painted with ancient scenes, boats carrying souls upon celestial waters. He walked closer, tracing painted lines. Figures shimmered beneath flickering fire. They moved as if alive in night. A priest approached holding sacred scrolls, papyrus unrolled with care and grace. Hieroglyphs glowed like stars in dark. Words for safe passage, the priest murmured. Prayers for the journey of kings. His tone soft, his eyes lowered. Pharaoh read symbols with steady breath. Each curve entered his resting mind. Each sign promised shelter in dreams. The queen touched the scroll with him. Together they shared its blessing, their bond sealed in sacred script. The statue of Osiris shimmered faintly. A glow circled its white crown. Silence deepened into divine embrace. The temple's air grew heavy with calm. Flames bent lower. Shadows deepened across stone. Incense thickened, wrapping walls in silver mist. Pharaoh and queen remained upon their knees. Their breath matched the hymn's slow rhythm. Their hearts aligned with silence eternal. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Osiris spoke. Not with voice, but presence profound. A warmth filled the sanctum like dawn. Imagine his blessing pouring into the hall. It spread across painted walls and pillars. It sank into Pharaoh's very soul. The priest lifted the sacred scroll higher. Its symbols glowed brighter, stars upon papyrus. Each word pulsed with life unending. Pharaoh placed his hand upon the script. The queen's fingers rested over his. Together they sealed its quiet promise. Perhaps you hear the hush of eternity, a chant that never fades or falters, a lullaby sung by generations past. The statue's gaze softened in the glow, its silence now a gift of peace, its stillness stronger than spoken words. Pharaoh arose with measured grace. The queen stood close beside him. They turned toward the temple's gate. Outside, the dream expanded wide again. Abydos shimmered beneath silver moonlight. Its walls glowed like guardians of night. The Nile's dream flow glistened beyond horizon. Its waters endless, its current calm. It carried hymns back to the stars. Pharaoh breathed deep of night's cool air, his heart lighter, his spirit steady. Legacy felt close, not far away. The queen smiled, her eyes gentle. She leaned near, whispering words of love. Her voice blended with river's song. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, they walked. Steps fading into dream's vast embrace. The temple glowed, then melted into sky. Thus ended the 8th hour of night. Abydos held its place in silence. Pharaoh carried its blessing in rest.
Pharaoh's dream carried him farther east. The river widened, leading to vast courts. Stone columns rose like forests of night. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Karnak appeared. Its gateways towered, crowned with fading stars. Its walls glowed faint with painted gods. He stepped within the sacred hall. Echoes lingered between towering pillars. Each stone breathed with centuries of prayer. Imagine torches flickering against colossal walls. Their light traced carvings of Amun. Eyes of the hidden god glimmered. Priests moved like shadows in silence, their steps slow upon polished stone. Their chants rose deep and steady. Perhaps you hear their hymn in night, low tones blending with temple's breath, a harmony vast as desert sky. Pharaoh walked deeper into Karnak's heart. The queen followed, her gaze serene. Together they entered the holy sanctuary. An altar stood beneath towering stone. Upon it rested golden vessels. Incense smoke spiraled toward the ceiling. The air thickened with divine hush. Every whisper sank into endless stillness. Every breath carried the scent of eternity. Pharaoh bowed, touching altar's edge. His crown gleamed in sacred fire. His heart opened to hidden God. The sanctuary glowed with soft golden flame. Shadows stretched across the towering columns. Incense curled upward, slow as drifting clouds. Pharaoh knelt before the image of Amun, the hidden god, Lord of silence, his crown tall, his gaze unseen. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the chants grew. Priests lifted arms in solemn rhythm. Their voices echoed like desert winds. Imagine their hymn circling through vast halls, each note carved into the stone, each tone weaving threads of eternity. Pharaoh felt the weight of legacy. Karnak's pillars pressed close around him. Their height reached sky, their silence infinite. The queen touched his shoulder lightly, her presence steady, her breath calm. Together they shared the temple's hush. A scribe approached with sacred tablet, hieroglyphs carved deep in alabaster. Symbols gleamed faint beneath flickering torch. Words of devotion, the scribe murmured. They bind king and god as one. His tone low, his eyes lowered. Pharaoh traced the signs with care. Each line glowed against his hand. Each mark pulsed with steady strength. Perhaps you hear the Nile beyond, its current blending with Karnak's chant, its song joining earth with heaven. Amun's presence filled the silent hall, not seen yet felt in every stone, not spoken yet heard in every breath. Pharaoh bowed lower, crown touching floor. The queen mirrored his devotion, their voices silent, their hearts open. The temple hushed as night deepened. Flames bent low, their glow subdued. Shadows clung close to towering columns. Pharaoh rose with measured breath, his steps slow across the stone. Each echo lingered within the vast hall. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the chant subsided. Priests lowered arms in reverent stillness. Only silence filled the sacred air. Imagine Karnak beneath a star-filled sky, its walls radiant with moonlit calm, its pillars standing eternal in night. Pharaoh lifted his gaze to ceiling. Painted constellations glimmered faintly above. They mirrored heavens outside the temple. The queen walked beside him, serene. Her veil brushed the floor in hush. Her hand sought his in quiet. Together they approached the inner altar. Upon it rested golden scarabs, symbols of rebirth and hidden power. Pharaoh touched one with steady hand, its surface cool yet alive with energy, its glow faint as breathing flame. Perhaps you hear Osiris within stillness, or Amun's whisper in hidden air, their presence merged, unseen but near. The Nile's dream flow reached Karnak's gates. Its sound drifted through stone corridors. Its rhythm joined the breath of night. Pharaoh closed his eyes in peace. The queen leaned near, whispering love, her words carried into the silence. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he drifted. The temple dissolved into starry mist. Only blessing remained within his rest. Thus ended the 9th hour of night. Karnak's silence folded into eternity, and Pharaoh slept, spirit strong, heart calm.
Pharaoh's dream shifted beyond temple walls. The streets of Thebes glowed with fire. Lanterns swayed upon lines of rope. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, people gathered. Families moved together beneath moonlit sky. Children clutched figs and lotus flowers. Drums sounded faint, steady as heartbeat. Flutes carried melodies into warm night. Voices rose in hymn to Amun. Imagine torches reflected on painted walls. Murals seemed alive in flickering flame. Gods danced with mortals in shadow. Pharaoh walked unseen among the crowd. The queen followed, veil trailing softly. They felt joy of common hearts. Perhaps you hear the chant of priests. Their words rose above laughter and song. Their tones blended sacred with human. The procession wound toward Luxor's gates. Statues carried high upon golden boats. Ropes pulled by men of every trade. Women sang blessings with steady rhythm. Children scattered petals on the ground. Night turned into a river of devotion. Pharaoh watched, heart bound to people. He saw their trust shining clear. Their joy became his crown renewed. The queen's eyes glistened with tenderness. She pressed his hand in dream. Together they shared the people's festival.
The festival swelled beneath Karnak's shadow. Torches blazed brighter, smoke curling skyward. Music carried through streets like flowing water. Pharaoh's dream wove through every sound. Each drumbeat echoed inside his chest. Each flute note brushed against his breath. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the night pulsed. Lanterns swayed as if stars descended. Their glow crowned the city in gold. Imagine families gathered near temple gates. Children laughed, clutching honey cakes. Elders whispered blessings into warm night. Priests lifted sacred bark of Amun. Golden beams glimmered beneath moonlight. The god's image shone through curtains. The queen watched, veil shimmering silver. Her eyes reflected flame and faith. Her heart opened to the people. Perhaps you hear the chants rolling deeper, voices layered in endless harmony. Sacred words join human joy. Pharaoh moved closer to golden bark. He felt the weight of devotion. Every voice carried his name upward. Amun's presence thickened in the air. Not thunder, but calm vastness, a silence hidden inside song. Priests bowed low as they marched, their steps firm, their faces solemn. Their torches cast long, sweeping shadows. The queen whispered, "They walk with you." Her words soft as lotus flowers, her gaze steady, unwavering in love. The dream stretched into festival's heart, night alive with unity and reverence, every soul bound in one rhythm. The procession reached Luxor's sacred gates. Stone towers glowed in torchlit shimmer. Carvings of gods gazed down in silence. Pharaoh's dream lingered among the crowd, every step mirrored by countless feet. Every breath joined the night's devotion. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the chant rose. Drums thundered, then softened again. Flutes drifted like wind through reeds. Imagined golden bark entering sanctuary. Its curtains swayed with hidden breath. Within, Amun's presence filled the air. The queen knelt beside Pharaoh's side. Her veil brushed the earth in hush. Her lips moved in silent prayer. Perhaps you hear the joy of the people, their voices no longer separate, but one. Their song stretched beyond the walls. Pharaoh bowed, his crown glowing faint. He felt unity binding king and city. Trust flowed stronger than stone itself. Priests placed offerings upon the altar, honey, figs, and jugs of wine, symbols of gratitude for another year. The crowd knelt as torches dimmed. Silence swept through the gathering. Only breath of night remained. Pharaoh closed his eyes in peace. The queen leaned against him softly. Her voice whispered, "All is well." Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence held. Festival faded into dream's embrace. Only blessing lingered, warm and bright. Thus ended the 10th hour of night. Luxor and Karnak bathed in calm. Pharaoh's heart carried the people's devotion.
Pharaoh's dream drifted deeper through Luxor. The festival's chant melted into stillness. Torches faded, replaced by silver moon. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, figures appeared. Not mortals, but gods of Thebes. Amun towered, crown tall with feathers. His presence vast, silent, eternal. Strength flowed from him like the Nile. Mut stood beside him, motherly and calm, her crown shaped like vulture's wings, her gaze soft, yet fiercely protective. Imagine her arms spread wide in embrace. She shielded Pharaoh with mother's care. Her silence sang louder than words. Khonsu shone bright with lunar glow, his youthful face lit with silver. He carried crescent moon upon head. Perhaps you hear his blessing clear. Walk safely through night's dark path. Dreams are guided by lunar light. Pharaoh and Queen bowed before the triad, their hands joined, hearts steady. They felt divine family surrounding them. The gods gazed upon them kindly. Unity flowed between heaven and earth, a bond stronger than crown or stone. The temple air glowed with lunar silver. Shadows softened, pillars bathed in calm. The gods stood radiant in dream light. Pharaoh lifted his gaze with reverence. The queen's veil shimmered beside him. Together they faced the holy triad. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Mut spoke. Her voice flowed like mother's song. Each word wrapped Pharaoh in warmth. Protect your people as I protect children. Let your reign shelter like wings. Let your love nourish, strong and steady. Imagine her gaze steady as stars, her eyes endless yet tender and near. They calmed the Pharaoh's weary soul. Khonsu stepped forward, silver bright. Moonlight circled his young face. He raised a hand toward Pharaoh. Dream safely, his voice echoed clear. Let no shadow trouble your heart. The night is passage, not prison. Perhaps you hear his blessing faint. It hummed like flutes across desert. It settled in Pharaoh's resting breath. Amun placed his hand above them, silent, vast, steady as sky. Strength poured unseen into their spirits. The queen pressed closer to Pharaoh, her fingers entwined with his hand. Her eyes shone with reflected moon. Together they received the triad's grace. Unity between king, queen, and gods. Harmony echoed through dream's vast chamber. The festival beyond grew quiet. Lanterns flickered low across Thebes. Songs faded into soft lullabies. Pharaoh felt peace like flowing river. The queen whispered, "We are safe." Her words joined divine blessing. The gods stood silent in final blessing. Moonlight spread across the temple floor. Its glow traced every carved relief. Pharaoh lowered his head in awe. The queen mirrored his devotion, calm. Their hearts beat, steady in harmony. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the vision shifted. The triad began to fade in light. Their forms melted into stars above. Imagine their presence lingering in air. a warmth woven through dream's fabric itself, a vow carved into eternity itself. Mut's gaze lingered longest, protective still. Her eyes promised shelter in night. Her love bound Pharaoh to people. Khonsu's glow wrapped around him. His crescent crown shimmered one last time. His voice whispered, "Dream without fear." Amun remained steady until the end. His crown shone faint in shadow. His silence vast, his strength eternal. Perhaps you hear the hush afterward. The temple empty, yet full of presence. Stillness breathing with memory of gods. Pharaoh exhaled, shoulders lighter now. The queen leaned into him tenderly. Together they carried divine peace. Outside, Thebes slept beneath quiet sky. Lanterns extinguished, streets fallen calm. Only stars remained upon river's face. Pharaoh's dream drifted toward horizon. His steps slowed, his breath softened. Night embraced him in steady arms. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence held. Blessings sank deep into his spirit. Dream's cradle rocked him into rest. Thus ended the 11th hour of night. Triad of Thebes sealed their gift. Pharaoh slept beneath their eternal gaze.
Pharaoh's dream opened wide to heavens. Stars wheeled slowly across boundless dark. The Nile below shimmered silver bright. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Khonsu appeared. His crescent crown glowed above youthful face. His eyes lit with lunar fire. He reached a hand toward Pharaoh. "Walk with me," he whispered clear. "The night is path, not fear." Pharaoh rose, the queen at side. Their feet touched sky like river. Each step left ripples among stars. Imagine the heavens bending close, constellations shifting to guide their way, galaxies opening like lotus in bloom. Khonsu led them over desert vast. Oases shone like jewels below. Temples glimmered faint beneath moonlight. Perhaps you hear his blessing carried. "Rest, king, for night protects all. Dreams are safe beneath my crown." The queen's veil drifted behind gently. Her smile glowed in silver calm. Her hand never left Pharaoh's grasp. They walked until silence thickened. Only stars sang their hymn above. Only moon guarded their sacred path. The dream stretched farther into night. Stars curved into endless shimmering road. Each glowed like torch upon horizon. Khonsu walked steady, silver crown gleaming. His steps silent, yet filled with power. Moonlight followed wherever he moved. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Pharaoh listened. The god's voice wove through the dark, a lullaby sung across eternity's veil. "See how stars guard the sleepers. See how night carries hidden peace. Even silence is gift, not void."
Imagine their path winding through constellations. Orion bowed low with jeweled belt. Sirius burned bright above the Nile. Pharaoh raised his eyes with awe. The queen leaned closer to him. Her gaze reflected galaxies beyond. Khonsu lifted hand toward rising moon. Its crescent widened into silver disk. Its glow wrapped Pharaoh like cloak. Perhaps you feel the hush within, a calm flowing deeper than river, a rest older than time itself. The dream carried them higher still. Earth curved soft beneath their steps. Temples shrank into sparks below. The queen whispered, "We are free." Her words mingled with lunar song. Her breath matched rhythm of stars. Pharaoh's heart grew steady, lighter too. Burden of crown dissolved in light. Only peace filled his chest now. Khonsu's eyes glowed with knowing. Night renews what day has worn. Your strength returns with dawn's embrace. The path of stars began to fade. Moonlight softened into silver mist. Silence deepened, tender and wide. Khonsu slowed, his hand still steady. He turned toward Pharaoh with calm. His crescent crown shimmered faintly above. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he spoke. "Return, king, with heart at rest. Night has given back your strength." Pharaoh bowed low in gratitude. The queen followed, veil brushing stars. Their voices silent, their spirits renewed. Imagine Khonsu raising hand in blessing. Silver light poured across dream's sky. It lingered like dew upon dawn. Dreams protect as walls protect homes. Sleep shelters as roofs shelter children. Peace flows like rivers through all. The moon god's form grew brighter, then dissolved into wide horizon. Only stars remained, soft and eternal. Perhaps you hear the hush afterward, a calm stronger than temple stones, a stillness older than any crown. Pharaoh felt weight lift from soul. The queen leaned close, smiling gentle. Their bond glowed brighter than moon. They drifted downward toward Nile's gleam. River mirrored heavens above them. Its flow steady, carrying them home. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, they rested. Dream folded them into warm embrace. Night cradled them with endless care. Thus ended the 12th hour of night. Khonsu's gift sealed within their spirits. Pharaoh slept in peace, guarded above.
Thebes slept beneath the silver glow, its streets silent, lanterns fading low. Houses of mud brick cooled in night. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, families rested. Children curled on woven straw mats. Mothers hummed blessings in hushed tones. Fathers placed scarabs above door frames. Clay lamps flickered with fading flame. Shadows danced upon rough plastered walls. Imagine the hush within small rooms, bread crusts saved upon wooden shelves, jugs of water cooling in corners. Perhaps you hear the murmur of prayers, words carried to Khonsu's silver crown, petitions whispered for safe, gentle dreams. A boy clutched a lotus flower, its petals folded like his own sleep, its scent mingled with desert breeze. A girl pressed doll of linen, stitched with care, stuffed with straw. She smiled before drifting away. The Nile flowed beyond the walls, its current steady, endless, calm. It carried the city's breath along. Pharaoh dreamed within palace stone, yet hearts of people dreamed with him. Moonlight bound them all in rest. The quiet deepened across narrow alleys. Dogs curled beside shuttered doors. Cats prowled roofs in silent grace. Fathers breathed steady upon reed mats. Their shoulders eased from day's labor, their dreams lighter beneath silver sky. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the city hushed. Mothers' whispers faded into silence. Infants sighed, their fists unclenched. Imagine the smell of cooling earth, walls releasing heat of the sun, air soft, carrying rivers' song. Thebes rested as one great body, thousands wrapped in same night's embrace, each home a heartbeat in the desert. Perhaps you hear sandals set aside, tools leaned against corners, quiet now. Day's burdens surrendered to gentle dark. A lamp sputtered, flame bowing low. Its smoke coiled upward like prayer, then vanished, leaving room in shadow. The moon traced patterns on rooftops. Tiles glimmered, faint with silver wash. Every shadow softened into tender calm. Pharaoh's dream still soared among stars, yet his people slept in safety, their rest bound to his own. The queen's presence lingered in dream, her breath echoed with motherly sighs, her hand steady as moon's glow. Thebes breathed slow, calm, and whole. Night carried them deeper together, a city held in one hush. Thebes dreamed beneath Khonsu's crown. Stars wheeled slow above quiet streets. Each window glowed faint, then darkened. Children stirred once, then stilled again. Their dreams filled with lotus fields. Their breath matched rhythm of Nile. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence spread. No cry, no sound, only calm. Night wrapped the city in silver threads. Imagine the river lapping stone embankments, its song weaving through every quarter, its voice ancient, tender, eternal. Fathers turned in restful slumber, mothers curled beside them in peace, infants nestled safe in warm folds. Perhaps you hear the faintest hymn, unspoken, carried in moonlit air, a city's prayer sung without words.
Above, Khonsu's gaze lingered kindly, his crescent traced across deep sky. His blessing touched each roof alike. Pharaoh slept within palace stone, his heart bound with every subject. His dream carried their dreams too. The queen's veil brushed marble floor, her breath slowed with motherly calm. Her spirit mirrored Mut's protection. Thebes lay whole, unbroken, one. Every soul drawn into single breath, every life resting in same night. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time passed. Moon drifted toward horizon's edge. Stars dimmed, preparing for dawn. Thus ended the 13th hour of night. Thebes still safe in dream's embrace. Pharaoh guarded, his people at rest.
The night thinned across desert sky. Stars dimmed, their glow softening slow. Horizon stirred with faintest gold. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time shifted. Thebes breathed in longer rhythm. Dreams lingered, yet day approached near. Pharaoh's rest deepened within silence. The queen's hand still clasped his, their breath steady as one. Imagine the scarab rolling sun upward, its shell gleaming with promise renewed, its strength hidden in patient climb. Perhaps you hear Ra's hymn beginning, low whispers rising in distant shrines, priests waking to greet the dawn. Children stirred upon straw mats, mothers brushed their hair with tenderness, fathers tied sandals for the fields. The Nile glimmered faint with fire, its surface caught first edge of light. Its song joined chorus of morning. Pharaoh dreamed still of gods above, Ra's presence warming his sleeping chest, Khepri pushing sun into birth again. The desert horizon blushed with crimson. Shadows shrank along the palace walls. Torches dimmed, their flames nearly gone. Pharaoh stirred but did not wake, his dream still woven with night. The queen's breath matched his own. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Ra ascended. His golden bark rose from east. Scarabs carried light upon their backs. Imagine the first rays touching temples, carvings lit with fire of day. Hieroglyphs gleamed with sacred brilliance. Priests lifted arms toward rising orb. Their chants rose stronger, steady, bright. Hymns spread across river's edge. Perhaps you hear sandals upon stone, families emerging into gentle dawn, their voices hushed with reverence still. The Nile shimmered with molten gold. Its waves sparkled like scattered gems. Its flow mirrored skies awakening. Farmers grasped tools with rested hands. Children clutched figs from baskets. Mothers poured water into clay bowls. Thebes awakened as one living body. Every breath joined in morning song. Every soul lifted with new light. Pharaoh's dream glowed brighter inside. Ra's warmth entered his resting heart. His spirit strengthened for coming day. The sun climbed higher above horizon. Light spilled across fields of grain. Palm shadows stretched long upon earth. Pharaoh dreamed of Ra's golden face. Its warmth entered his chest like flame. Its strength renewed his weary spirit. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, dawn expanded. Thebes glowed beneath heaven's fire. Streets filled with morning's tender hum. Imagine merchants lifting baskets of bread. Fishermen casting nets into gleaming Nile.
children laughing at water's edge. Perhaps you hear chants from Karnak, priests greeting sun with open palms, their voices blending with city stir. The queen's dream softened into peace. Her veil shimmered like pale dawn. Her presence mirrored Mut's eternal care. Pharaoh's rest deepened, crown unseen. His heart steady, his breath aligned. Ra's blessing flowed within his sleep. The river carried light across land. Fields brightened, lotus opened wide. Every stem turned toward rising sun. Thebes awakened with grateful rhythm. Every soul touched by morning's gift. Every life bound to light's return. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, night ended. Dream's cradle lowered its gentle veil. Day began, golden and whole. Thus ended the 14th hour of night. Ra's bark sailed across boundless sky. Pharaoh still dreamed, guarded in light. Ho, 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 ho.
Pharaoh's dream brightened with golden tide. Shadows melted, replaced by streaming light. His chest warmed with Ra's embrace. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently his spirit lifted. The queen's hand lay upon his. Together they glowed in sacred hush. Imagine Ra's rays touching Pharaoh's crown, each beam a thread of living power, each glow a vow renewed in silence. Perhaps you hear hymns in distance, priests chanting praises to rising sun, their tones steady, carrying across fields. Thebes awoke with gentle vigor. Children laughed beside flowing river. Mothers greeted day with tender joy. Fathers grasped tools strong once more. Farmers turned soil with rested strength. Merchants filled streets with woven baskets. Pharaoh dreamed of walking among them. His steps matched the rhythm of morning. His heart beat with the city's pulse. The queen's eyes shone within his dream. Her smile reflected warmth of dawn. Her voice whispered, "You are renewed." The sun climbed higher into the sky. Its beams spilled through palace windows. Walls glowed with painted gods alive. Pharaoh's dream carried him outward still. He walked fields with common men. Their voices greeted him with trust. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the city stirred. Drums of work replaced drums of festival. Rhythm of life beat strong again. Imagine oxen pulling plows through earth, soil turning rich beneath sharp blades, seeds scattered like blessings on ground. Mothers drew water from cool wells. Children ran between market stalls. Laughter lifted like song of birds. Perhaps you hear Ra within the bustle, his light woven in every task, his presence shining through human effort. The queen appeared in Pharaoh's vision, her veil bright beneath new day, her gaze steady, voice serene. You are not alone in rule. Your strength flows with every heart. Your reign breathes with their breath. Pharaoh felt crown upon his brow. It glowed not heavy, but bright. It bound him to people, to sun. The city's song swelled beneath the sun. Shadows fled from temple gates.
every stone bathed in golden fire. Pharaoh's dream throbbed with living strength. Ra's presence filled his chest anew. His heart beat steady as drums. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently he breathed. The queen stood close beside him. Her touch mirrored warmth of dawn. Imagine lotus opening on river's face, its petals stretched wide in praise, its fragrance carried into morning air. Farmers bent low among green shoots. Children lifted arms toward sky. Merchants bowed heads in quiet thanks. Perhaps you hear hymns grow louder. Priests chanted before blazing altar. Their voices joined with the people's stir. Pharaoh bowed within his dream, not above them, but among them. His crown shone with their devotion. The queen whispered, "Your reign endures, because it flows from every soul, because it lives in every dawn." Ra rose higher, steady and vast. Light washed across the endless desert. Strength bound earth to heaven once more. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, Pharaoh rested. His dreams sealed with morning's promise. His spirit lifted into golden calm. Thus ended the 15th hour of night. Ra's bark sailed across radiant sky. Pharaoh renewed, his people in light.
Pharaoh's dream thinned like drifting mist. Golden beams pierced the veil of night. His breath deepened, calm and sure. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the gods withdrew. Their voices lingered in distant hush. Their blessings stayed within his chest. Imagine the palace stirring with servants. Curtains swayed with morning breeze. Steps echoed faint in marble halls. The queen's hand still clasped his. Her eyes opened with dawn's glow. Her smile tender, steady, serene. Perhaps you hear Ra's warmth spreading, through walls, through fields, through hearts, a tide of light unbroken, whole. Pharaoh's crown shimmered within dreamlight, then dimmed as vision receded, yet its weight felt lighter now. Thebes outside awoke with gentle rhythm. Children's voices mixed with bird calls. Water splashed into waiting jars. Pharaoh exhaled, spirit untroubled. His dream closed like lotus at dusk. Its fragrance lingered, soothing, eternal. The palace brightened with streaming gold. Walls reflected hymns of painted gods. Each image glowed with living fire. Pharaoh's dream clung like morning dew, clear yet slipping between his thoughts. He breathed steady, eyes still closed. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence held. Servants whispered outside his chamber door, steps careful not to break hush. Imagine lotus petals folding inward, their scent drifting into warming air, their beauty lingering even as they close. The queen's presence steadied his rest, her touch cool as marble stone, her gaze warm as hearth flame. Perhaps you hear the Nile's return. Its current glittered in new sun. Its song joined waking cities' hum. Pharaoh stirred within his golden dream. Visions faded, yet peace remained. Strength lay woven in his breath. Thebes awakened to sound of market.
merchants arranging bread on mats, children running with figs in hands. Priests raised voices in hymn to Ra. Their chants echoed across wide courtyards, their palms lifted toward blazing sky. Pharaoh's chest rose with steady rhythm. His spirit touched both night and day. His crown awaited, light and sure. The last threads of dream unraveled. Stars gone, their memory faint. Only morning's blaze filled the sky. Pharaoh's spirit rested in golden calm. No burden pressed upon his heart. No shadow lingered in his mind. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he returned. Not to noise, but to balance. Not to wait, but to flow. Imagine Ra's hand upon his crown, a touch unseen, steady, vast. A blessing sealed without words. The queen leaned closer beside him. Her breath matched his in harmony. Her presence bound his soul to earth. Perhaps you hear the palace awakening, steps quicker now in sunlit halls, curtains swaying with desert breeze. Thebes stirred like a single body, its heart beating with morning strength, its voice rising with day's promise. Pharaoh opened within, though eyes closed. Dream complete, gift fully given, his spirit bright, steady, renewed. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence remained. Night's legacy folded into morning's glow. Peace lingered, whole and eternal. Thus ended the 16th hour of night. Dream faded into living dawn. Pharaoh kept its blessing in rest.
Thebes bloomed beneath rising sun. Streets stirred with steps and voices. Shadows fled from mud-brick walls. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, life returned. Mothers kneaded dough upon stone slabs. Children carried jars toward the Nile. Fathers lifted baskets to shoulders. Farmers gathered tools with rested hands. Their breath steady, hearts lightened. Imagine market stalls filling with bread, fresh loaves steaming in woven baskets, figs piled high beside cool melons. Perhaps you hear chatter of traders, coins clinking in morning's hum, laughter weaving through city's breath. Cats wound between open doorways. Dogs barked at carts rolling past. Donkeys brayed as loads were shifted. The Nile gleamed with brighter fire. Its current mirrored Ra's golden path. Its banks thrummed with daily rhythm. Pharaoh slept still within palace, his spirit calm, his chest steady. Dream's blessing lingered in golden hush. The queen's presence watched beside him, her smile quiet, her hand warm. Her heart mirrored dawn's promise. Merchants called across shaded stalls. Spices spilled fragrance into warm air. Papyrus scrolls lay stacked for scribes. Thebes pulsed with ordered harmony, every craft alive with fresh rhythm, every soul bound by rising light. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the city breathed. Fishermen hauled nets from glittering river. Their voices sang as ropes strained. Imagine oars cutting Nile's wide surface, boats gliding toward distant villages. Their sails billowed with morning wind. Perhaps you hear sandals on stone, steps echoing through temple courts. Priests gathered in golden halls.
their chants lifted with dawn's hymn, their palms raised to blazing orb, their voices joined as one tide. Children splashed along river's edge, lotus crowns floated beside their laughter, frogs leapt through reeds in silver arcs. The queen gazed from palace balcony, her veil caught morning's breath, her heart steady as the Nile. She whispered soft toward Pharaoh's rest, "Your people thrive beneath this light. Your dream flows into their day." Pharaoh stirred but did not wake. His spirit lingered in calm. Night's gift shielded his crown still. Thebes glowed brighter beneath Ra's ascent. Shops opened, voices wove through streets. Every corner thrummed with gentle vigor. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, the city moved. Not rushed, but steady in rhythm. Each act a prayer of life. Imagine bread shared at wooden tables, children smiling with honey on their lips, fathers blessing food before the day. Perhaps you hear loom's soft rhythm, threads crossing with patient care, cloth growing beneath careful hands. Scribes dipped reeds into ink, their strokes carved memory into papyrus. Words flowed like Nile's eternal song. Priests burned incense in temple courts. Smoke curled upward in golden spirals. Their chants mingled with city's hum. Pharaoh breathed deeply in his chamber, his rest unbroken by morning stir. Dream's blessing guarded his spirit still. The queen watched calm and bright, her gaze softened by dawn's glow, her heart steady as rising sun. Thebes thrived as one living body, every soul joined in day's promise, every step guided by light's return. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time passed. Morning spread its warmth across land. Peace lingered, whole and strong. Thus ended the 17th hour of night. Day fully claimed the desert sky. Pharaoh rested, people alive in light.
Pharaoh lay still within his rest. Dreams faded, yet blessings lingered strong. His spirit bridged gods and people. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, balance settled. Thebes thrived beneath Ra's bright crown. Night's hush, guarded by Osiris, remained. Imagine the city's breath in rhythm, day and night woven as one, life turning like scarab's wheel. Perhaps you hear whispers of devotion, rivers of prayer flowing both ways, toward sun, toward stars, never broken. The queen sat in quiet watch, her veil brushed stone like river's kiss, her heart mirrored Mut's eternal care. Priests lit incense at morning altars, smoke curled with chants of gratitude, their words sealed covenant of light. Thebes moved in measured harmony. Farmers, scribes, traders, children, mothers, all bound beneath same divine gaze. Pharaoh breathed steady, crown unseen, yet his soul glowed with unity. He was king, dreamer, bridge eternal. The sun climbed higher in desert sky. Its warmth touched palace marble floors. Its rays spilled through open courts. Pharaoh stirred but kept his peace. His breath
matched city's rising rhythm, his dream's gift still rested deep. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time unfolded. Servants bowed as they passed doors, their steps careful in sacred hush. Imagine priests crossing Karnak's halls, their robes trailing across polished stone, their voices blending in steady hymn. Perhaps you hear farmers in distance, plows cutting earth with practiced ease, oxen groaning low in morning heat. Children carried figs within woven baskets, dogs trailed behind in playful chase. Thebes thrummed alive in golden tide. The queen lifted her gaze skyward, her eyes followed Ra's steady climb, her lips whispered prayers of gratitude. Pharaoh dreamed of gods in silence, Amun's strength, Mut's shelter, Khonsu's light, all lingered within his soul. The people lived beneath his shadow, not in fear, but in faith, their trust bound crown to heart. The city breathed, whole and steady. Day advanced without breaking harmony. Night's hush echoed within the light. Thebes shimmered beneath full daylight, shadows short, streets alive with voices. Every soul carried strength of dawn. Pharaoh's crown waited within palace halls, its gold warmed by morning fire, its weight softened by dream's gift. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently he rested. Night's visions folded into his chest. Day's promise rose around his throne. Imagine lotus blooming upon river, its petals mirrored rising sun, its fragrance drifted through waking fields. Perhaps you hear scribes at work, reeds scratching upon fresh papyrus, words preserving city's living memory. Merchants bartered with measured laughter, farmers sang to rhythm of plow, children chased shadows along walls. The queen watched all with calm, her smile carried Mut's compassion, her hand rested near Pharaoh's own. Balance held across heaven and earth, gods above, people below, king between, all bound in sacred rhythm. Pharaoh exhaled, steady, serene. His spirit shone with unity, his reign blessed by both night and day. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence deepened. Not emptiness, but harmony complete. A lull that joined all hearts. Thus ended the 18th hour of night. Light crowned the city of Thebes. Pharaoh endured, dream woven eternal.
Pharaoh breathed within golden hush. Dreams lingered like fragrance of lotus, their weight gentle, their meaning vast. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently he remembered. Amun's silence, Mut's tender arms, Khonsu's guiding light, Ra's warmth sealed them all within. Imagine his crown resting near pillow, its gold silent yet alive, its glow echoed night's eternal gift. Perhaps you hear his whispered thought, I am not above them, but with them. Their dreams are my own.
The queen leaned close in stillness, her hand pressed upon his chest, her breath steady, her gaze calm. Pharaoh saw Thebes in his mind, streets alive, children laughing, fields greening, a city bound by God's embrace. The dream had shown his place, not only ruler, but bridge, a thread woven between heaven and earth. The chamber glowed with softened gold, curtains swayed with desert breeze, incense lingered faint upon cool air. Pharaoh's spirit rested in calm reflection. Visions moved like ripples in water, each memory clear yet drifting gently. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he recalled Osiris guarding silence of night, Khonsu guiding across starry paths, Mut's embrace steady as mother's care, Amun's vastness deeper than sky, Ra's flame renewing his heart. Imagine these blessings woven together, a tapestry vast, bright, unbroken, each god a thread of life. Perhaps you hear his thoughts unspoken. I am small, yet chosen. How vast their trust within me. The queen's eyes glimmered nearby, her smile held quiet knowing, her presence steady as rivers flow. Thebes lived within his dream's embrace, its people thriving with each dawn, their laughter bound to his reign. Pharaoh's chest rose in tranquil rhythm, not heavy, but light with purpose. His spirit glowed with gentle strength. The palace hushed in morning glow. Steps echoed faint across distant halls. Servants moved with reverent care. Pharaoh's dream folded into silence, its weight not vanished, but absorbed, its meaning carved within his soul. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he breathed. Every inhale held God's blessing, every exhale bound him to earth. Imagine lotus drifting on river's face, its petals touched by sun, its roots steady in hidden depth. Perhaps you hear his vow inside, I will guard them as gods guard me, their peace will be my crown. The queen leaned closer, whispering low, her words woven with quiet faith. Her heart mirrored Mut's endless love. Thebes stirred beyond marble walls. Children's voices carried through courtyards. Market hummed with gentle vigor. Pharaoh's spirit joined their rhythm. No distance lay between throne and street, all bound within one living dream. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, balance held. Night and day, gods and men, Pharaoh resting, yet fully alive. Thus ended the 19th hour of night, dream's reflection sealed within his soul, Pharaoh renewed as bridge eternal.
Pharaoh lay still in gentle calm, night complete, dream sealed within soul. Day waited, golden and whole. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he stirred. Breath deepened, crown unseen yet present. Spirit lifted with Ra's rising light. Imagine the palace bathed in fire, walls glowing with God's painted gaze, air humming with quiet reverence. Perhaps you hear chants at temple, priests hailing Ra with steady hymn, their voices reaching Pharaoh's heart. The queen leaned close in silence, her touch steady, her gaze serene, Her love mirrored Mut's embrace. Thebes thrived beneath blazing sun. Children laughed, fathers worked, mothers blessed. Life flowed, strong, whole, renewed. Pharaoh's dream had bound them together. Gods above, people below, crown between. Balance held, eternal and true. The sun climbed higher above horizon. Its blaze crowned palace towers bright. Its warmth spilled into every chamber. Pharaoh's chest rose in steady rhythm. Dream's blessing anchored within his heart. Its glow softer, yet unbroken. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, time advanced. Servants bowed with trays of bread. Water poured into golden cups. Imagine fragrance of incense drifting upward. Columns bathed in shafts of light. Lotus blossoms floating in wide pools. Perhaps you hear city's harmony swell. Voices mingling with birds at dawn. Steps echoing through market streets. The queen remained beside Pharaoh's side. Her veil shimmered in golden beams. Her hand steady on his own. She whispered, "Rise when ready, beloved. The gods have sealed their promise. The people wait within your light." Pharaoh's brow glowed with unseen crown. Its weight lighter, its bond stronger. Its meaning etched deep by night. Thebes moved as one great body. Every act a hymn to life. Every heart bound to rising sun. The palace shimmered with morning fire. Curtains swayed with desert wind. Every stone breathed with light renewed. Pharaoh stirred in gentle silence. Eyes closed, yet spirit awake. Strength flowed steady through his chest. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, he rose. Not hurried, but balanced, whole. Dream's legacy still within him. Imagine Ra's bark blazing overhead. Its golden path carved across sky. Its promise endless as desert horizon. Perhaps you hear Thebes alive again. Children laughing, priests chanting, traders calling. Each voice joined in one harmony. The queen's gaze lingered with peace. Her presence steady, her faith unshaken. Her love bound to his reign. Pharaoh's crown waited upon its stand. Gold gleamed with morning's blaze. Not burden, but blessing now. He touched it with calm hand, felt weight, but also light, felt power, but also grace. Thebes thrived beneath his watch. God smiled from heaven's height. Balance bound earth to sky. Slowly, softly, calmly, gently, silence deepened. Not end, but circle complete. Night and day joined as one. Thus ended the 20th hour of night. Pharaoh renewed, people strong, gods near. Legacy sealed beneath eternal sun.